All right, welcome back. More evidence of Democrat ties to the Russia investigation. New reports now showing the brother of Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, Tony Podesta's company, was named in the Manafort indictment as Company B in this. There was Company A and Company B. Democrats continuing to deny any ties to Russia at this point. Here now to weigh in is criminal defense attorney and a former prosecutor, David Bruno. Dave, thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Good morning, Rob.
So, you know, it gets very interesting now because we've had all this talk for 9-10 months, maybe a year now, about the Trump campaign and Russia being in bed together. What did you make of that?
Yeah, loud day, and it shows the Manafort indictment shows that this Mueller investigation is very widespread. And in the indictment itself, it refers to two D.C. lobbying companies, Company A and Company B.
Yeah.
And reports are now that the Podesta Group is Company B. And what that means is one of the counts against Manafort is that they were acting as lobbyists and they didn't properly register with the United States government as agents. The Podesta Group,
sure,
if it's true, had the same registration requirements. And they didn't register properly at the time. In fact, they modified their registrations earlier this year.
Yeah.
They knew something was coming down.
And just to give some clarity to the people at home that aren't as familiar, you've got John Podesta, you've got Hillary Clinton's campaign, John Podesta basically running the show, and this is his brother, Tony Podesta, right there. And this is allegations that they were in bed with the Russians in the same sort of fashion as they were alleging the Trump campaign was?
Represented interests in the Ukraine.
Right.
All right, that's the connection. And
a pro-Russia government in the Ukraine.
Correct, by the ousted president of the Ukraine and a center for modern Ukraine. They were paid $2 million. They're two lobbying groups, overpaid over $2 million, and the money came from Manafort and his foreign accounts. Wasn't paid by the Ukraine or the center, by Manafort.
Would that explain to you why it seemed so quick that Hillary Clinton was to push that Russia narrative, is because they knew Russia was entangled in all this because they were entangled with Russia and because they were entangled with Manafort? Is that taking it too far?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's speculation when you want to bring Hillary Clinton into this conversation. Just
Sure.
because of these deep ties in Washington. And also, Mercury Public Affairs is the second D.C. company with Republican interests. Those are former Republican congresspeople. You know, so they knew, Manafort knew what he was doing when he brought these D.C. lobbyists in.
We learned yesterday that some of these Russian bought ads on Facebook were actually anti-Trump and pro-Hillary as well. Along with this information right here, does this just kind of show you that Russia in general is just interested? They don't care really who wins. They want to get their fingers into our system. They want to get their tentacles into this system no matter who they have to go through.
Yeah, it seems like they wanted to break apart the democracy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the parts in the dossier, and I think we're going to get to that in the Fusion GPS, but certainly that seems to be the common thread as to what Russia was trying to do in our election.
And it didn't matter which candidate it was, whoever they could get a hold of, they were going to try, and it's very interesting. Thank you so much for coming on this morning and explaining to us the way you did, because I know for a lot of people this is complicated stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, David.
Good to
Thank
see
you. All right. Okay,